The tree nearest to the armored bear was torn apart with little to no effort. The monster roared in pain and anger, searching for whatever dared to provoke its wrath. It's not like we were expecting it to be taken down with just a shot, Heather grumbled. Celine stood several feet away from the woman, holding up the rifle and waiting for the creature's attention to be directed towards Chelsea's group. Claire breathed in slowly, trying to keep her emotions in check after witnessing such a massive creature move so quickly. Looking at her hands, gripping the pistol, she noticed that they were trembling in fear. Keep yourself calm. At worst, you'll be eaten, but then come back. It's nothing like what could happen in the real world. Gripping the weapon tighter, her eyes went back to the monster which had spotted Chelsea's group. Good, Heather whispered. Turning her head slightly towards Celine, Heather said, Get ready to shoot that thing. I got it. Celine nodded. Aside from the sound of the bear crashing through the brush, there was no other noise in the forest. The noise was loud enough to cover up the sound of their breathing, which helped to allow Heather and Celine to communicate with one another. A flash was seen as the rifle shot out towards the bear. Instead of the rear, the laser burned the spot just behind the knee of the left rear leg. Stumbling from the laser attack, the bear took longer to recover compared to the initial attack. Just like I thought, the joint isn't as armored compared to the side. Celine nodded her head. Aiming again, she fired another shot. The armored bear roared in pain from having its other rear leg injured. It prevented the monster from being able to get up and kept it grounded on the forest floor. Heather signaled towards Chelsea. After receiving some kind of order, she commanded, Move in, but keep your weapon aimed at the thing. Claire moved closer, the barrel of a weapon directed at the head of the bear. Her eyes flickered to see Chelsea's group beginning to move closer to the monster, though slow enough to keep the thing between the two groups at equal distance. Seeing how the other group was moving, Claire understood that they didn't want to attract the creature's attention towards their group by moving too quickly. Even though the bear was injured and looked to be unable to move, it didn't mean the bear didn't have the capability to lunge at them. Claire, make sure not to shoot unless you're told, Heather reminded her. This is where things can get dangerous. A cornered creature is always the most dangerous, Celine added to Heather's words. Keeping her finger far from the trigger, Claire nodded. Understood. You're doing good. Just don't let this make you think everything is going to be okay. Heather began teaching Claire. The only reason why that thing was taken down to the ground so easily is due to Celine's skill at detecting the weak point. Yeah, that thing took Emily's shot as though it was nothing, meaning the armor is thick enough to handle weapon fire. Celine muttered. I could only imagine if we had met this thing with our traditional rifles. As the two groups slowly approached the bear, the smell of burned fur could be detected. There was a mixture of iron wafting in the air from the bleeding wounds on the creature. The bear growled menacingly at them, both paws slightly raised as though it was uncertain about which group to attack. Claire couldn't help but stare at the monster's fur, which was a mixture of black and brown with patches of moss growing on it. It's as though the fur and moss act as a camouflage. She noticed that the pieces of moss were on areas the bear had rubbed itself against with the tree. Claire, pay attention, Heather hissed. Redirecting her attention to the monster, Claire felt her face heat up in embarrassment. Yes, Heather. Lunging towards them, the armored bear aimed directly towards Claire as though sensing her distracted mind. Its left paw rushing to end the girl's life, the claws whistling through the air like a cloak of death.